It all began with a single blurry paparazzi photo. Wang Yibo, the famously private actor, racer, and global icon, was spotted exiting a secret studio at 3:12 a.m., not unusual for someone with his work ethic. But what sent the entire entertainment industry into a frenzy wasn't the time or place. It was who was seen walking just 5 steps behind him, wearing a dark hood and sunglasses that failed to hide the elegance and mystery of her silhouette. Speculation roared like wildfire. Was it an old flame? A new love interest? Or, could it be, a co-star in an unannounced, top-secret project? The answer, as the world would soon discover, was far more jaw-dropping than anyone could have imagined. Under the cover of night in Beijing's most confidential production lot, Studio D7, known only among insiders, Wang Yibo was quietly working on what insiders were calling the most ambitious romantic thriller of his career. The set was locked down tighter than an espionage agency. No phones. No leaks. Even crew members had to sign 6-tier NDAs. On the third night of filming, the temperature dipped below freezing, and tension was thick on set. The director, Liemo Chen, known for his award-winning cinematic epics, called for the reveal scene. "Roll camera. Lights low. Cue fog," he barked. And then she walked in. The air shifted. Technicians, boom operators, even seasoned assistants froze. Nobody had seen her until that moment. She wore a crimson dress that shimmered like fire, with a presence that demanded silence. Wang Yibo turned, saw her, and for a split second, he forgot his lines, That's when whispers began. Who is she? Rumors flooded online forums. Some swore it was Liu Yifei. Others claimed it was Dilraba Dilmurat returning to screen after a hiatus. A few fringe theories even threw in international names like Jenny Kim or Thai sensation Baifern Pimchanok. But nobody guessed the truth. Because this actress wasn't just famous, she was legendary, and she had vanished from the spotlight for almost 5 years. When the production trailer finally dropped on a surprise midnight livestream, the fandom exploded. There she was. Tang Wei, the cinematic queen, last seen winning global awards for Decision to Leave, was returning, and with Wang Yibo as her on-screen counterpart. The trailer was barely 59 seconds long, but the internet broke. Twitter trended #YiboTangWei. Youku servers crashed. Douyin lit up with reaction videos. Everyone wanted answers. The film's title? Velvet Ashes. The plot? A suspense romance thriller set in a future where memories can be extracted, sold, and stolen. Wang Yibo plays Lin Zhe, a memory thief haunted by a past he can't remember. Tang Wei portrays Anya, a client who hires him to erase a forbidden love affair from her mind, but it turns out the affair was with him. As Lin Zhe begins the extraction, pieces of their shared past return in flashes: an abandoned villa, a broken pocket watch, blood in the snow, and a kiss in a burning library. Their chemistry in the trailer was electric, so intense, fans began questioning if this was more than just acting. Insiders from the set started leaking stories anonymously. There was one scene where Yibo had to yell at Tang Wei's character after a betrayal. The script called for a sharp line and walk away, one crew member revealed. But Yibo improvised. He shouted, then broke down, fell to his knees. Everyone was shocked. Tang Wei was crying. The camera kept rolling. The director kept the take. Another story involved a scene filmed atop a freezing cliff at 2 a.m., with artificial rain pouring down. Tang Wei slipped during a shot. Before anyone could move, Yibo was already off his mark, catching her mid-fall, whispering, "I've got you," into her ear. Cameras caught it. That line made it into the final cut. It wasn't long before #Tang Wei plus Yibo shippers took over social media. Some were convinced the chemistry wasn't just on screen. Speculation surged when Wang Yibo posted a cryptic message on Weibo. Some connections live outside memory. Some burn even when forgotten. Fans dissected the post for hidden meanings. Was it a line from the film, or a confession? Things escalated when both stars were spotted leaving a cafe in Paris after the Cannes teaser screening. Tang Wei wore a soft white sweater and Yibo, a black cap pulled low. When paparazzi snapped the shot, his hand was on her lower back. The premiere of Velvet Ashes was unlike anything seen before in Chinese cinema. Held at the futuristic Dome Theater in Shanghai, the red carpet was rolled with holograms of memory fragments playing on either side, snippets from the movie, whispered lines, fluttering snow. Wang Yibo arrived in a dark velvet suit, sharp and enigmatic. Tang Wei followed 10 minutes later, wearing a gown made of layered silk that mimicked falling ash. When they met in front of the cameras, they didn't pose like typical co-stars. Instead, they stood silently. Then he leaned in and kissed her hand. The crowd lost it. Critics called the film a haunting masterpiece, a genre-defining collision of sci-fi, romance, and psychological thriller, and the most magnetic performance of Wang Yibo's career. Entertainment insiders said Tang Wei chose to work with Wang Yibo specifically after watching his emotional performance in Hidden Blade and his silent resilience post-controversy. She said he had the eyes of a man who had loved and lost, an anonymous source from the production claimed. Directors, producers, even Hollywood studios began bidding for international rights. Netflix, HBO, and iQIYI all made offers before the credits had finished rolling. Just when fans thought it couldn't get wilder, an announcement dropped on Wang Yibo's official account a week later. Velvet Ashes was only the beginning. Attached was a photo, Yibo and Tang Wei in character, standing in front of a massive high-tech lab set. In the corner, a logo. Ashesverse Studios. They weren't just releasing a film. They were launching a multi-film cinematic universe with Yibo and Tang Wei as recurring characters in a web of interconnected stories exploring memory, identity, and forbidden love. In a rare joint interview, Tang Wei was asked if the emotion between them was real. She paused, looked at Yibo, then smiled softly. "I think some memories, even when fictional, leave real marks." Yibo leaned in, voice calm but intense. "Some stories are too powerful to stay on screen." Fans haven't stopped talking since. And as rumors swirl of a second collaboration already in pre-production, with even more international actors joining, the question remains. Was this just a surprise film, or the beginning of something unforgettable, on screen and off? The cast had moved to the most remote location on the entire shoot, a centuries-old mountain temple in Sichuan province, where one of the final sequences of Velvet Ashes was set to be filmed. The journey alone was cinematic. Foggy roads, narrow cliffs, and an ancient stone path leading to the temple, where local monks had agreed to close the site for 5 days for the production. The temple set the tone for something spiritual, silent, mysterious. Wang Yibo arrived first, dressed in a long, black overcoat, his hair damp from the mist. He walked the temple grounds alone before filming began, lost in thought. According to a makeup artist, he didn't speak to anyone for nearly 3 hours. Then she arrived. Tang Wei, in a silver-gray robe, stepped onto the gravel path. Her presence was ethereal, like she belonged to the place. As they began filming the memory recovery ritual scene, neither actor said a word. They simply stared at each other across the incense smoke and falling snow. The director whispered to the crew, "This isn't acting anymore. Let the camera roll." Suddenly, Tang Wei reached out, unscripted, and cupped Yibo's face in both hands. He looked stunned. She whispered a single line. "If I forget you again, make me fall for you one more time." Everyone on set stood frozen. That line wasn't in the script. And Yibo's reply. He stepped forward, touched his forehead to hers, and said, "Even if the world ends, I'll remember you in the ashes." After that scene, filming was paused due to a power outage caused by a sudden storm in the mountains. The entire crew moved to emergency backup quarters near the temple grounds. But Wang Yibo and Tang Wei didn't return with the crew. They stayed behind. One assistant later confessed that the two had been spotted walking into the temple's prayer hall with candles in hand, and locking the doors behind them. 4 hours, nobody saw them. What happened in that room is unknown. But the next morning, when they emerged, Tang Wei was barefoot, smiling in a way no one had seen before, and Yibo looked transformed. He went straight to the director and asked if the final scene could be changed. The new ending was approved without hesitation. The film's original ending was bleak. Lin Zhe erases his own memories to save Anya, leaving them strangers forever. But in the rewritten version, Yibo's character fights the memory machine, literally tears out wires, bleeding, falling, screaming as flashes of their past burn across the screen. In the climax, Anya appears in the room, bleeding too, whispering the same words from the temple. "If I forget you again." Yibo responds with the same answer from their unscripted moment. "Even if the world ends." And then, they kiss star. Not just any kiss. It was raw, long, shaky. Their bodies trembling, hands grasping for truth, for time, for something real. The director didn't yell, "Cut," for 5 whole minutes. The scene faded naturally, the camera gently drifting into the flickering lights and silent tears streaming down both actors' faces. Once the film premiered, fans began dissecting every scene, and that's when things took a wild turn. Dozens of tiny clues scattered throughout the movie pointed to something deeper. Symbols in the background, timestamps on devices, names of memory files. One fan theory exploded on Weibo. Velvet Ashes is based on their real shared past, something neither of them can fully speak about. Users began pulling footage from past interviews, comparing Wang Yibo's early career moments to Tang Wei's disappearance from the public eye. Some claimed they may have met long before this film. Others argued the project was born out of a personal promise. And then Tang Wei reposted a fan video, one that showed a side-by-side of her 2017 award speech and a 2021 race clip of Wang Yibo, both talking about a dream that hasn't died. No caption. Just a heart emoji. That was all it took. Producers scrambled. Directors started rewriting scripts to accommodate what they now called the Tang Yibo effect, an explosive on-screen chemistry that had eclipsed box office projections by 300%. At a secret roundtable hosted by streaming executives, one insider was heard saying, "They've created something beyond cinema. This is art. This is myth." A rival actor allegedly refused to audition for a similar romantic sci-fi project, saying, "I can't follow that. It's lightning in a bottle." Fashion brands began approaching them as a duo. Cartier, Chanel, and Burberry fought over exclusive joint campaigns. Rumors swirled that Dior had offered them a deal to front their next fragrance, called Memory, together. In the last press event before the movie left theaters, a journalist asked Wang Yibo point-blank, "Do you believe in falling in love through memories?" Yibo looked at Tang Wei. She gave him a small nod. And he answered, "I believe. I already have." Gasps echoed. Flashbulbs exploded. But they said no more. As they stood to leave, Tang Wei reached for his hand. Just for a second, just enough. The world noticed. Velvet Ashes has gone on to win multiple awards across Asia and Europe, and its sequel is already in pre-production. But more importantly, it left something rare in today's fast-paced entertainment world. A mystery. A feeling. A collaboration born not of headlines, but of hidden meanings, unscripted moments, and chemistry that blurred the lines between fiction and reality. Wang Yibo and Tang Wei didn't just give the world a film. They gave it a question. What if the most unforgettable love story is one you can't remember living? And maybe, just maybe, their next project will hold the answer. Stay tuned to Veil of K-Drama for updates, exclusive breakdowns, and emotional reactions as the story unfolds. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, because this miracle might just be real.